Hi, hello, how are you? Amanda, Seint Artist, and we're gonna do our makeup. So I'm doing a wedding today, and I thought, why don't I get on here and show how I do a face for a wedding, not eyes. I'm just gonna focus on what I recommend if you're gonna get your makeup done and you're gonna use Seint Makeup, whether it's me or somebody else, or maybe you're doing your own makeup, what I would recommend for you to do and how I do brides, how I do girls going to prom, homecoming, whatever dance, bridesmaids. So I'm going to show you what I do. So I'm going to be starting from the beginning to the end on the face. So this might be a little longer than usual. So, and I mean, aren't they all kind of long? So this is my face. This is my palette. I'm going to be using a new color. This is Watermelon. This is one of the new limited edition releases. It's so pretty. I want to try it on my cheek. And one of the problems that I have with my skin is that I have old acne scarring on my cheeks. So using a highly pigmented cheek color can be a little tricky for me because it wants to pull through. But I heard with the texture that this is in the formulation, I shouldn't have this issue. So we're gonna try. But I do my makeup a little bit differently when I'm working for a wedding and what I need to do. So I'm just trying to rub off my under eye here. And that's fine. I should have done better before I got on here, but whatever. All right, it's not a deal breaker. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to prep. So if you have dry skin, grab your Seint setting spray and spray your face. If you moisturize before, absolutely, prep work is key. If you have dry skin, moisturize, let it sit on your skin for about 20 minutes. That way it can soak in and it doesn't mix with your makeup, but it moisturizes your skin. And then before you apply, I want you to spray your face with Seint setting spray because it's very hydrating and it will help with your application. It'll help with the makeup to stay with that dry skin with blending. Okay, so we're gonna do that. I have oily skin and so I don't always prep. I am gonna put some Milk Hydro Grip on. I really like this. This is great for if you have dry skin, if you have oily skin and you prefer a primer. This is a great one because it is silicone free. So I'm just gonna put that on. I've already done my brows. And we're gonna get going. Once I put this on, you know, it brings all the blood to the surface and makes me all a little bit red and you can really see all that discoloration. So I'm gonna let that settle for just a minute. So one of the things that I need to do is eye correct under my eyes. I have some darkness that's under my eyes. So I am going to correct that with some Demi. So this is Y01 right here. And I have my spot brush. So I'm gonna take this little brush here and I'm gonna dip in and I'm gonna put that on the tip of the brush. And I'm gonna focus this, oh, hold on, yuckaroo. Okay, now I'm gonna correct under my eye. So I'm gonna look to see where I have darkness, which is always right here. And I'm just gonna dab this on in this corner here. And then I'm gonna bring it down where I have darkness, which is in this corner, and then down onto this trough here. I'm gonna flip it to the fluffy end and I'm just gonna tap this in and I'm gonna blend this out. And this is gonna neutralize the darkness and it's gonna brighten my under eye. I can bring it out if I wanna add a little bit here, but it brightens while it corrects. And then when I add my brightener underneath, it'll give it a little extra brightening. But you can see here already, just add a little more right there. And that brightened it up and it's not the same. You can see here, bright, corrected, not bright and corrected. So I'm gonna grab that Y01 again and I'm just gonna tackle that inner corner here and then where I'm dark, which is in this corner, and then just down this trough a bit. And all I'm doing is neutralizing and brightening. I like the way that Demi will brighten and make my under eye even brighter when I add my brightening highlight. I like a really bright under eye. It's not for everybody, so do with it what you want. Next, I'm gonna go in with my blend brush and I'm gonna correct all my redness. It's not raging like it was when I put my primer on. So I'm gonna go into Aspen here. It's a contour color, it's very light, it's got a gray tone. This is gonna neutralize my redness. And I'm just gonna dust this over all of my little imperfections, just like that. And I'm gonna get this little, I have some scarring right here. I'm gonna get around my nose in a minute, but first, I don't like to apply the creams. I have an old breakout right there. And right here, look at how it just buffs right out. It doesn't go away, but the color is neutralized. So when I'm doing a wedding, because my cheeks are where I have the most damage that shows through, I do a little extra prep work, especially when I have an event that I'm going to. If I'm in a wedding, going to a wedding, going to any kind of event. I'm just taking what's left on my brush and I'm just going over it. I am gonna grab some more demi. I have been using more demi lately. I have a broken capillary and it's right over here. So I'm gonna go into this true blue right here. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna clean off this tip. I always keep a cleaning towel in with all my demi. I'm gonna tap into this blue here, and I mean, when I say I'm tapping in, I am barely putting any on, and I'm gonna go to that broken capillary right here, and I'm gonna tap the tiniest bit onto it, and then I'm gonna take this brush and I'm gonna neutralize it down. That's it. Broken capillary, gone. Clean it off. I'm all done with my demi. Okay, super easy. All right, because I'm gonna be doing a wedding and I'm showing how we're doing the wedding, I do extra prep work on my cheeks. I'm gonna take some mango here and I am gonna cover my scarring with a really light covering, because again, I'm gonna be using this pink. And so I really wanna make sure that my scarring doesn't show through. So I always add a little bit of mango over the top. Now this is an extra step, but this is also an event style makeup. So you're gonna wear a little extra. Anytime you're gonna be having pictures taken, you need to jump up your colors a notch, and you need to make things a little bit more dramatic in real life, so that on pictures, when you take that picture, even on this camera, I have to do extra makeup for you to see what I'm doing, because it takes about 50% of the makeup away. And that goes for eyeliner, eyeshadow, blush, contour, bronzer. It has to be a little extra punchy to be able to surface on a picture. All right, so now I'm gonna go in to my makeup. Usually I start with my contour, but today I'm gonna start with my main highlight. I'm using Walnut Contour. It's the best color for my skin. I'm gonna be using the 3D brush on the short end. I'm gonna go in to Walnut, and I am gonna start right down here, and I'm gonna bring this down just like I always do, just on that beard area of my lower jaw, just to even out my skin tone. But I'm gonna bring it up to my orbital bone because I want a fuller coverage makeup. And because I've color corrected, I'm stippling this on. I'm not circling it on. That can not get it into the skin, and it can also mix with your corrector rather than working with your corrector. And so anytime you have color corrector and you're putting on makeup, especially with Seint, stipple this on. All right, going back in, and you just add as you go, add as you need. And I'm just gonna go right over here, and I'm coming up. And I do things just in a different order than the usual. There's no wrong way to do the makeup. It's just finding the way that works for you, especially when there's an event. And I always feel like, because I do Seint Makeup, I feel like a walking billboard. So I'm like, I better look good. Because I feel like everybody's like, because I know when I've gone to like Seint stuff, or I'm always looking at other artists and I'm like, what's going on her face? I did do that. You can't help it. You really can't. You want to see how it looks on other people, and then you want to talk to them about it and be like, so how'd you do it? So once this is where I want it, I'm actually going to go on my temples with it, just because I have some discoloration and I just want to even the tone out. I'm getting a lot of melasma. I have a new spot coming in above my eyebrow. I thought I had makeup on it the other day that just wouldn't come off, which was weird, but it's a new spot. My doctor told me I'd be seeing a lot more of these when I freaked out thinking, oh my gosh, it's melanoma. He's like, you're fine. You're fine. All right, so I've brought this up to the orbital on both sides. I've gotten it to where I want it. A little more here. Usually I say apply the makeup and then go over and cover the things. When it's event makeup, I cover the things first. It does make it a little heavy, but we're able to troubleshoot that at the end, and I'm gonna show you how. All right, I'm gonna go in with, what do I wanna do next? I'm gonna go with the pointy end, and I'm gonna go into my brightener. This is White Peach. I'm gonna go in between my brows, and then I'm gonna go down my nose, and I'm just gonna tap this up and out. And I'm pulling it out over the brows, being a little extra careful because I've already done my brows today for the sake of the tutorial. And I'm just doing this. If you like my brows, I do have tutorials on them because I like them. And I make a tutorial for everything, really. Just ask. I could do a tutorial on how to change the toilet paper roll because a lot of people need help with that. All right. Okay. Over the brow, just like that. Something on my hair, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna save my brightening under my eyes for the end, and I'm just gonna take what's left on the brush and tackle my nose. Get a little over here and over here. Okay, so we're gonna go to the detail. This is a great brush for contouring. I like the square end. I'm gonna go into indigo. I like using indigo, especially for event makeup, because it is a very bold contour. So I focus it on the outsides, but then I bridge it to the middle and pull it down the temple. I'm just, you know, mimicking a shadow, creating dimension, but it's also foundational coverage. But it is one of our more pigmented, darker colors. And I love it. It's my favorite. It's my favorite contour. I love when I get tan enough to be able to use it. All right, that's pretty much it on my forehead. I use my fingers for my nose because I have a bit of a bumpy nose. So when you're contouring your nose, I mean, just putting the brightening down the middle almost widened my nose, and that's where contouring isn't just about shadowing, it's also about brightening. You can use your brightener just to highlight, and we're gonna be able to use that to slim it down, but I'm going to think about what I'm trying to push in and what I'm trying to accentuate out. So I have a bump here, and then it comes in, and then I have my tip. So my brightening is bumping this out. My contour is gonna push my bump in. By just applying right here, I'm gonna follow the shadow to my brows, skip the bump, hit the tip. All right, and that's it. Okay, I'm gonna take my brush, I'm gonna get a mirror, I'm gonna get one of these ones I can get real close to my face. And I'm just going to tap my brush. I'm gonna push it into my brow here. We're gonna tap, 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 because I have that bump. And if I wipe, it's gonna create a high point, and it's gonna take that makeup off of that high point. So I'm pushing down, and I'm doing the same thing over here. Push, push, pushing, stippling this on, pushing it to my brow, stamp, 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 hit the tip. And I'm gonna take my finger, I'm gonna take that brightening, and I'm just going to push up and down, and it's just gonna create that really nice slimming effect with my contour. Now I'm just blending my contour in to that to make it straight. So I have that bump. So I'm working it down while keeping it straight so I don't have a no contour space. The nose is the hardest part for me, honestly. I'm gonna take the tip, and I'm just going to sculpt up here with the shadowing and the brightening, just like that, boop. And there's my nose. And it all works out in the end, promise. It's always weird when you contour your nose and the rest isn't done. It always looks a little funky. All right, so we're going to go and do our cheeks. So when I do events, I keep my contour high and back. And so I go in on the edge of the contour brush, and I go and I find my cheekbone. You have your natural shadowing, but we're wanting it to be just a little more snatched. So I'm gonna take my natural shadow, and I'm gonna take my cheekbone. I'm gonna come just above the shadow, and I'm gonna pull it to the back. I usually say don't come in past the outer corner. I'm just gonna keep it the width of the brush. And I've brought my cheekbone up. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, above the natural shadow, up. Okay, up. Keeping it about the width of the brush. And then you're gonna hold it about, I always like to hold my brushes in the middle. If I go right down here, it's gonna create too much pressure. You're gonna over blend, and you can over apply. So keeping a mid pressure hold is in the middle. Light pressure would be way down here. So we're gonna stay here, we're gonna hold it at an angle, and we're gonna push this up, and we're gonna under blend it. I'm just pushing this up, blending it out a little tiny bit. I've kind of already done that over here, just like that. All right, I'm going to do bronzer. I like using a fluff. I'm gonna use a lot of brushes. It's kind of nice for you to see all the different brushes. So blush and bronzer, because I like this fluffy end. Going into my bronzer here, and I'm gonna go above where I put my contour on the high point of my cheekbone, and I'm gonna stipple this up into the temple onto the forehead. And again, just circle, circle, circle up here, but stippling here. I have a lot of product here. I've got my correctors, I've got my walnut foundation color, I've got my contour, and now I'm just stippling on the cheek. It's the best way to blend it. It puts it with your, it helps it live with your skin. And so I'm just putting this on. It's almost like a blush, but you see just how pretty this looks and how natural this is looking. That's what we're going for, but we're also wanting it to be a little extra. So above that contour, and then up onto the temple and onto the forehead. And here we're just creating warmth. I'm gonna flip it to the fluffy end, and I'm just gonna push this brightening into my bronzer, into my contour, just to even it out. Using the fluffy end, and you can blend it. I'm gonna add a little extra because I have melasma over here. So I'm gonna add just a little bit extra bronzer over here, just to camouflage it a little bit. Same over here, little melasma coming in, and then I'm just bringing it up, and I like this fluffy end for that. Adding a little more, and I'm gonna get my neck because my neck is lighter than my face. So I'm just gonna even this out. My earrings are really in the way. But I'm doing a wedding today. I felt like I needed to be fancy and feel good. So here we go. All right, there it is. Let's dig in to the Scary Pink blush color, okay? It honestly, I haven't tried it as a blush. I've tried it as a lip. I loved it, and it smells so good. It smells like watermelon bubblegum, and it's not a subtle smell. Like, you smell it. My whole palette smells like it right now. All right, I'm gonna go into this brush here, and I like this brush because if I over apply, this is what's going to rein it back. So if I feel like I've over applied down here, I could just take this brush and just stipple and flick, and it'll pick up excess. All right, going into the pink. Okay. You never know with the pigmentation how it's gonna hit. I always start up here, and then I'm gonna smile, and I'm gonna bring it down. I like a pink cheek. I like a bold pink cheek. So we're gonna really snatch this and hope it doesn't pull my redness through. Just like that. Not too bad. Not too bad. I'm gonna have to add some peach. I am seeing a little bit of pulling, enough to make me uncomfortable, but I'm gonna wait until I've brightened my under eye. I do like it. It's super pretty. I like it a lot. The new releases with this Fruit Punch collection, I believe that's what it's called, is it's not a super pigmented lip and cheek. It's a super scented, but it's not pigmented super crazy. All right, blend brush, and I'm going in. Ooh, I want to use a different one because I like, we'll just stick with white peach. Okay, going in on the small end, and I'm gonna go under my trough here, right here. We're gonna tap up and in, and again, tapping, and then I'm bringing what's left out here, and then I'm gonna tap it together, focusing on my orbital bone, not my soft tissue, and then bringing it up into the soft tissue. With your under eyes, they could be very easily textured and matured by applying too much product. So I'm just taking the fluffy end with nothing on it and going over it. Look at how pretty that looks. And it looks natural. It's giving the coverage you want. So again, under the trough because we want to camouflage the bags. And then out here because we want to bring some lift to our eyes. And then pushing onto that orbital bone. And then just pushing up onto that soft tissue. A light touch if you're going to sweep, very light, tips of the bristles. And we're just brightening. I like the way Demi brightens and corrects so that when you do your under eye, it's even brighter. I like it. It's all a matter of personal preference. If you don't want such a bold under eye, you can simply just correct with Demi, or you can use Frenchy Lip and Cheek, which will neutralize it, but it won't brighten. It's whatever you want. I have a tutorial on that too. All right, there we go. That is how I do it. I'm gonna add a little extra brightening right here, just with the fluffy end, very minimal amount, pulling up and out, just like that. Okay, let's talk about, oh, I need to add a little bit right here. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of setting powder on my forehead. If you have dry skin, skip this part. If you ever feel like with your dry skin that your makeup isn't blending, spray your brush with your setting spray and then go in and blend. Just going to come up with that. I always start down here and come up. If you like a really sharp contour, we will do that next instead of lips. Going over the cheek, up, I need to fix my brow, and then up. Okay. If you like to have a really structured contour, grab your detail brush, grab your brightening, and put just a little bit on the edge, and you're gonna smile so you can see the curvature of your cheek. You're gonna come around and you're gonna snatch that up, just like that with brightening, not your main brightening. And it will snatch it right up, and then you just go in and you tap it and blend it out. And it's so, so good. Look at that, nice and snatched. And it gives a little definition. I'm gonna go in with my small end and I'm just using my main highlight just to cover that little blemish right there. Okay, so again, brightening very lightly here, smile to see the curve, and then snatch that up, and then blend it out. Just like that. And that is how you do it. Okay, there we go. All right, now we're gonna contour the lips. Everybody does it a little bit differently. I'm gonna pinch the small end, I'm gonna go in, and I am gonna go right here at the tip. Now you can do this two ways. You can make it more of a pout where it's in the middle by contouring just in the middle and brightening on the outside. You can really fill up your whole lip and go all the way across if you want. And that will give the, I mean, you could see, I went from having a normal looking lip to it looking a little more full in the middle to now it's more full all the way across. It's whatever you want. You can do it on the top also by starting in the middle and outer lining with a contour, creating a shadow. Like it already looks like I have a shadow and this lip is a bit fuller. Push it up in the middle in this Cupid's bow area. But if you want, you can pull this all the way out and around and you can contour around your whole lip and making the entire lip look fuller. If you like more of a pout, you just brighten on the outsides, going outside the contour and in, and then you tap it out, and this will create a contrast of color, but it also, look, both sides of my lips are structured completely differently. It's okay, again, it's a personal preference of what you want from your lips. Just evening it out at this point. Just like that. I really like the way contour looks outside of the lips. Just fixing this contour a little. And there we go. You can use your contour as a liner, your bronzer as a liner. Again, also personal preference. I am going to go in with my contour as my liner. I'm going to use Indigo. And I'm going to line my lips. I'm going to hug it at the edge. And I'm going to define my lips. I like having a nice sharp edge. If you have maturing lips where you have some fine lines around your lips, take brow wax, which we have, I use it on my brows, and outer line your lips before this, and it will create a barrier to keep your lip color. And this is lipstick or ours, any kind of lip color. It will prevent it from bleeding in. All right, contour as a liner. And I'm just blending it out. Now we're gonna go in with Watermelon, and I'm gonna do that as my lip color. I like to focus a bright pink on the inner part, and then I work it out. Isn't that pretty? Okay, grab some more, going in on the inside, and then working it out. It's so pretty, and it smells good. Okay, I really need my nails done, but that's not happening till school starts back up. But mixing it with that contour just makes it really nice. But I like the way contour just fills my lips up a little bit more, and that's my preference completely. Okay, I'm just gonna go over this with my brush, give everything a good and final va-voom. And then I'm gonna go in and do my eyes, and that's a separate tutorial. We're gonna do something fun. All right, that's it. That's my face. We're gonna get some setting spray here. I'm gonna grab Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm gonna spray it. And that's it. We are done. That's event makeup. Maybe I should just reiterate that. That's event makeup. Have a great day.